Hi, I'm Rebekah O'Dell, and this is Mini Moves for Writers. Today I want to show you a move that's going to help your reader sit up and pay attention to your ideas and also understand them in a richer, deeper way. We're going to call this move figurative language that makes you say, huh. Let me show you what I mean in an example from Zadie Smith writing about the novelist Toni Morrison in The New Yorker. To read the startlingly detailed autocritiques of her own novels in that last book was to observe a literary lab technician reverse engineering an experiment. So Zadie Smith is trying to describe Toni Morrison's writing to us. But she knows that maybe we haven't read this piece of Toni Morrison writing, or maybe we're not familiar with Toni Morrison at all. So to help her reader pay attention, to better engage with her ideas, and to better understand exactly what she means, she uses some figurative language. Specifically, she uses a metaphor. She starts with, to observe a literary lab technician reverse engineering an experiment. Now, here's some things I notice about this figurative language. It makes me say, huh, because I have never heard a writer compared to a lab technician. That's a really unusual comparison. So the first thing I notice is that it's really unexpected. Something else I notice about this is that it puts a picture in my head. Instead of picturing Toni Morrison, the esteemed novelist, sitting at her desk strewn with books and papers and pens and maybe a laptop, instead what I'm picturing is a scientist in a lab, acting like an engineer, right? Like really specifically planning and plotting an experiment. That sticks this image in my head, and it makes me see Toni Morrison in a different way. I no longer see her as this artist for a moment. I see her as a scientist. The other thing I notice here that I think is so important is that I have never heard this comparison before. Sometimes when we are using figurative language, we resort to figurative language you've heard before, like her lips were as red as a rose, or his eyes were as blue as the ocean, or even it's raining cats and dogs. What happens when we use cliche or expected or heard before figurative language is our reader's eyes just kind of glaze over, right? They've heard that a million times. They don't really have to stop and pause and think, and it doesn't put a picture in their head. But when we use figurative language, it makes us say, huh, it's unexpected, it creates that picture in the reader's head, and it's something they've never heard before, so they're likely to remember it. They're likely to think about this idea in a brand new way. Let's take a look at some other writers using this same technique. Writing, could you make a comparison? Could you use a simile, a metaphor, maybe hyperbole that maybe no one's ever heard before, so that you can be really specific, so that you can make the reader see exactly what you're seeing in your head, so that you can make them think exactly what you're thinking in your head? Can you think of a comparison that is unexpected, that you've never heard before, and that creates a picture in the reader's head? If so, you're going to be using figurative language that makes you say, huh? Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe so that you can get more mini moves for writers.